Now, what if I told you that one of the biggest reasons that most plants underperform has nothing to do with expensive equipment, fancy nutrients, or even buying the latest gadgets? Many growers assume that increasing yield means spending more money. But in reality, some of the biggest gains come from optimizing the things that you already have. So today, we're going to look at several science-backed ways to increase plant growth and productivity without spending a single extra dollar. So let's get straight on into it. Now, first off, this is really important and we got to get this out of the way. One of the most important concepts in plant science is something called the law of limiting factors. And the idea is simple. You may be wondering why I'm holding up this chain. Plant growth is limited by whatever resource is in shortest supply. So think of it as a chain. The strength of the chain is not determined by the strongest link, but in fact, it's determined by the weakest link. And that weakest link is whichever resource is in shortest supply. Now, you may have excellent lighting and great genetics and also awesome nutrients, but if airflow is poor and environmental conditions are off, then those factors literally bottleneck. So instead of spending money on a bunch of expensive upgrades, just ask yourself, what's currently limiting my plants? Finding and fixing those bottlenecks often results to a fast path with better results. Now, once you understand the law of limiting factors, things start to run pretty smoothly, and most growers focus on how much light they have, rather than how evenly that light is being distributed. Plants growing directly under the center of the light often receive significantly more energy than plants near the edges, and that's just common sense. Now, what that does is create uneven growth in your grow space, and leaves part of your growing space underutilized. So instead of buying more lights or upgrading to the biggest, baddest light out there, just consider adjusting the extra height of the light that you already have. You can also rotate your plants periodically, reorganize the plant placement in your grow tent. That's a really useful way just to maximize efficiency in that space. And it also helps to eliminate areas that receive poor light coverage. Because think of it this way, a more uniform canopy allows plants to receive light more evenly. Because think of it this way, a more uniform canopy helps plants to receive light more evenly, helping to maximize the efficiency of the lighting system that you already own. So sometimes better light placement can produce better results than adding more equipment, straight up. Now, number 3 is one of the most overlooked factors in indoor growing, and that is air circulation, air oscillation. Optimize your airflow. Airflow is one of the most overlooked things for most growers. Plants continuously exchange gases within the surrounding air, and when that air becomes stagnant, growth can slow down. So good airflow really helps a whole lot. It helps to distribute temperature evenly, reduce excess humidity around the leaves, improve gas exchange, and strengthen stems and structural growth. So there are a lot of benefits to adding a little oscillating fan in your grow space. Now, you don't need the biggest oscillating fan. Sometimes the small ones that actually hook onto the tent walls, those work fine. But one thing you do want to do is make sure to wipe them down so that they don't look dusty like this one does. Now, when asking yourselves, do I need to add more oscillating fans to my grow room? It's a simple question. Just take a look around your grow space. Are they dead zones where the air barely moves? Are you seeing a little bit of breeze in certain areas and no breeze in other areas? Are some plants blocking airflow to others? Those are all questions that you can answer, and the answers to those questions will help you determine whether you need to add another oscillating fan or not. And also remember that simply readjusting and repositioning your fans can improve air circulation, and that creates a healthier environment without costing anything. Literally just repositioning them a bit. Now, number 4 is a big one, and one which we went into great detail in on our last episode, so be sure to check that out, and that is overwatering. One of the most common mistakes that growers make is giving plants too much water. Now, it may sound counterintuitive, but roots need oxygen just as much as they need moisture. So when your grow medium remains completely saturated, oxygen availability decreases and root function can suffer. Always remember, healthy roots drive healthy growth. And oftentimes, instead of watering on a fixed schedule, learn to observe the plant and the growing medium. Pay attention to the container weight, the moisture levels, and the plant appearance. After a while, you'll get really good at determining when your plants need water and when they're good. For me, I can go in and literally touch the leaves, and I would know that this leaf feels a little bit flaccid or it feels like it's filled with water. But for the most part, I do go in and do the lift test, I lift the plant up, and if the plant pot is really heavy, then I know there's a lot of water in there. But if not, then I know I can do a little bit of watering. But always remember, allowing appropriate wet and dry cycles can encourage stronger root development and better overall performance, and that increases your yield and doesn't cost you anything. Now, number 5, have you ever heard that old saying, location, 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 when it comes to properties? Well, when it comes to home growers, environment, environment, environment. Everything comes down to environment. Most times, if you dial in your environmental control, you can get larger improvements as compared to adding more nutrients or even fancy equipment. Because always remember this, plants respond directly to temperature, humidity, air movement, and light intensity. So even small improvements in environmental consistency can have a large impact over time. So instead of chasing some of those expensive fancy upgrades, focus on stability. Plants thrive when conditions remain predictable. Large swings in temperature and humidity can create stress and reduce growth potential. Always remember, the goal isn't perfection, the goal is consistency. Now, number 6, to really increase your yields, you want to create an even canopy. Another powerful way to increase your yield is literally improving your canopy management. When some plants or branches grow a lot taller than others, they capture most of the available light. Meanwhile, the lower growth receives less energy and contributes to less overall production. A more even canopy helps to maximize the usable light reaching all parts of the growing area. This means that more of your growing space is working efficiently. Instead of increasing your light output, you're increasing how effectively plants use the light that is already available to it. And that is a huge difference, and it doesn't cost you anything. Now, number 7, this is probably the biggest one and the one which most folks won't tell you. Focus on plant health, not plant products. The gardening industry loves selling solutions, new additives, new solutions, new boosters, new supplements. But the truth is, healthy plants are usually built on fundamentals. The basics, those are what matter most. Proper watering, good airflow, stable environment, healthy roots, and appropriate lighting. It's really simple. Before buying another bottle or another fancy gadget, ask yourself, have I fully optimized all of the fundamentals? In many cases, the answer to that question is a resounding nope. And if it is a no, then that's actually good news, because it means that there's still room for improvement without additional spending. So if you want bigger yields, don't start by opening your wallet. Start by looking for efficiencies, improve light distribution, optimize airflow, avoid overwatering, create a more even canopy, focus on environmental consistency, and remember, increasing yield is not always about adding more. Sometimes it's about getting more from what you already have. So if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing for more plant science content, growing tips, and practical strategies designed to help you grow smarter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.